So in the last class, we have seen that call perfect can be translated as simple action completed in the past. It can be translated as past perfect, action completed prior to the point of reference in the past time. It can be translated into present tense when it is, talking about a physical or mental state of being, attitude, so on and so forth. And then it can be translated into future tense when you come across a verb conjunction before the perfect conjugation. All right? Yeah. Now today, let us learn how the word order. Okay, so word order we will go next. Now, first what we have to see is there is a subject, there is a verb, there is an object, and in Hebrew you see the verb comes first and the the predicate or the verb comes first and then the subject and then the object. So there will be an agreement of person, gender, and number when it comes to the verb and the subject. So if the verb is singular, the subject will be singular. If the verb is feminine, the subject will be feminine. So there will be an agreement of person, gender, and number. Okay. Songli, can you read this phrase?
Yes, sir. Adonai.
I didn't hear. Can you read it once again? It was not audible.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please read it once again.
Ze ha yaom Asha Adonai.
Ze hayom.
Ha yom.
Hayom. Yo this double. Yo this double. Ze hayom. And then the next word is what?
Asha.
No, not Asha. No.
Asa or what?
Asa, because the dot is
Asa.
on the the dot is on the left hand side. It is Asa, and then Adonai. Adonai. Okay. So if you see here, friends, the translation is this is the day the Lord made. Okay. So Ze is demonstrative pronoun, and then Hayom is the noun which is having the definite article, and Asa is the verb. Songli, can you pass that verb Asa? Parsing of the verb Asa.
Yes, sir. Asa. Oh.
Yeah, Asa only.
It's third person feminine singular.
Feminine. Because of Karnat's here, you are saying feminine singular. No, it is not a feminine singular. It is Kal, perfect, third masculine singular from the root word asa, meaning he made, he did.
Okay.
Okay, he made or he did. Okay.
Okay.
He made or he did. Okay.
Okay.
So what is the point here is, which one is the subject here? Any idea? Which one is the verb here? Asa. Which one is the subject here? Anyone?
Sir, home. Yom, sir, yom. Sir, yom.
That is the first part of the sentence. This is the day.
Yeah.
But to which Adonai is the subject. Adonai is the subject. Okay. So this is the day is again what is that? They is demonstrative particle, attributive or predicative. It's predicative.
Predicated.
That's why it is translated as this is the day, not this day. right? So that is one portion. But the main one comes here. The Lord has made, or the Lord made, right? The point here is you can see an agreement between the verb and the subject. The verb is third masculine singular. Okay, so the subject is also masculine singular, right? So in terms of number, it is singular. This is also singular. This is masculine. This is also masculine. So there will be an agreement between the verb and the subject to which it is connected to. Costa, please read this phrase. Are you reading? Hello, your can you just raise your voice? It's not audible. Hello, Costa. Manoj, can you read this?
Ve Amira, Aisha, Amen, Amen.
Okay. The translation is?
And the woman shall say, Amen, Amen.
Okay, so which one is the verb here?
Amir, Amira, Ve Amira.
Yeah.
Because of verb conjunction, it is translated in the future tense.
Okay, parsing.
Feminine, Karl perfect. Feminine singular.
Third feminine.
Third feminine singular. Third feminine singular. From the word Amar.
From the root word?
Amar.
Meaning, he said.
He said.
So always in the lexicon, it will appear as third masculine singular only. All right. So which one is the subject here, Manoj?
The woman.
So can you see there is an agreement between the verb and the subject?
Yes.
Yeah. So it is third feminine. Exactly. So feminine singular.
Feminine singular.
Noun is also feminine, right? Singular, singular. Verb is singular. Noun is singular. Verb is feminine, and noun is also feminine. So the point here is there will be always an agreement between the person, gender, and number.
Both are in the third person.
Exactly. Hanok. Hanok. Ravi Kiran, can you please read this phrase? Geeta madam?
Yes, sir. Kal. Kal.
Oh my God. That is call?
No, that is what I'm reading, sir. Kal.
Not call.
Call, no?
This
Call,
is
sorry.
yeah.
Call.
Too much learning of Hebrew also will lead to confusion. Yeah. So this is basically from Kol Kamachatuk now.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Kol, ve, ameru. Amen.
Super. Which one is the verb here?
Ameru.
Okay. Can you parse that?
Kal perfect. Third person. Common plural.
From the root word?
Amar.
Very good. Meaning?
He said.
Okay. So always when we parse, we have to say like this. Kal perfect third common plural from the root
From the
word.
root word Amar,
Amar.
which means he said.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So which one is the verb subject here?
Aam.
Yeah, that means including Kol. Kol am. Including Kol. All the
Yes.
people. Yeah, all the people. So that is in plural or singular. Here it is in plural form.
Plural. Plural.
Because it is saying all, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
then the verb is also in the plural form, third common
Yes.
plural.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay.
So I have a doubt in that translation. Why is it said and not shall say? Because the verb conjunction has come with it. No?
Yeah, it can also be translated in that way.
And second, I wanted to know why we cannot translate it. All the people, why the and has to come with the people? Like why it was placed in front of the Ameru?
Once again, I didn't understand.
I mean, why was the and, wow conjunction placed before Ameru and not before whole Ha'am?
Okay. So if it is placed before Kol, then you cannot translate into future tense. And here, even though wow conjunction is there, I don't think it will be translated into future tense because you look at the action here and the people said, which is a customary action, repeated action. Okay. But then we can also translate it into future tense, as you have said, because of the presence of wow conjunction.
So we
But
can
if-
translate it as,
and the
and all
people
the
shall
people
say.
shall say Amen.
Yeah, that is also possible. So we have to look at the previous sentence. The previous sentence will help us how it should be translated. Okay, but as far as based on the phrase that has been given to us, we can translate it into and all the people shall say Amen. Now the question of Manoj, only if the verb is carrying wow conjunction, it will be translated into future tense. If the wow conjunction is there in the present, in the before Kol or before any noun, it will not be translated into future tense.
So this
Only
one is the indication that it can be translated in future tense because it is attached to the verb.
Yeah, wow conjunction is there in front of the perfect conjugation.
Verb.
Exactly.
Okay.
Especially perfect.
Perfect.
Because most of the perfect conjugations or perfect verbs will be translated into action completed in the past.
The past. Okay.
But apart from that, in other ways also they can be translated, like the past perfect or present tense or future tense. So we have to be very clear in that. We have to justify why we are here. For example, in future, not for the exam sake. Okay, so if you are in the West, when you learn the languages, we have oral examination also. So after you finish your written examination, they will call you for a 20 minutes oral examination where you have to read the verse, then translate it, and then parse it, and then give some grammatical explanation for that. That grammatical explanation is called as syntax. Okay, so we will see that syntax and semantic. Syntax means giving explanation to the way how the sentence has been constructed. And when you say semantic, it is referring to the meaning. Okay. For example, a verb, a particular verb, okay, when it appears in the call form, it may carry one meaning. But when it appears in the nifal form, it may carry another meaning. For example, there is a verb called ra'a, okay, meaning he saw. But when the same verb is used in nifal, it will be translated as he appeared. Not seeing plus appear, but appeared. Right? So there is a difference. So stem to stem, sometimes the meaning also will change. So all these explanations are called as syntax. And we will see now, okay, the word order. Now if you see, this is not the original word order in the Hebrew language. The original word order is verb, subject, object. But here the noun is appearing first. Why? There is a reason. Okay, we will see about that. All right. Now, another thing what you can see here is all the verbal conjugations are carrying pronoun in front of them. For example, Katel means he killed, right? Katela, Katelta, everything is carrying a pronoun. He, she, you, they, you, right? But you see here in this phrase, Eric, can you please read this phrase?
He not na lo min ha ets.
Okay, very good. I like the way you read. Okay, with more stress, right? Each and every letter is pronounced. This is how we need to read. So here, independent personal pronoun, meaning he. Right? Sorry, not meaning he. He is the original form. Here, since it is in Genesis, it is he. And then the meaning is she. All right. Now let us forget that the pronoun is not there. If we read only from na che na, how we will translate? Still, we will translate it as what? She gave to me from the tree, even without the pronoun. Right? But why there is a pronoun here? I have given that in the translation within brackets. In order to emphasize, she gave. In the conversation, the man is emphasizing. It is not, I who took, but she gave it to me. There is an emphasis. Even without the independent personal pronoun, you can translate it. But with the independent personal pronoun, it is more emphatic in nature. So the verb is again emphasized with the independent personal pronoun. She only gave. She gave. I didn't take. That is the connotation that is given there. All right. So you can see the presence of independent personal pronoun, even though the pronoun is already there in the conjugation, in order to emphasize. Again, he ata adaat ma'asta. For you have rejected knowledge. Okay. Ata is the independent personal pronoun. Rejected knowledge is ha da'at. The verb here is ma'asta. Okay. So that is second masculine singular. Call perfect second masculine singular from the root word ma'as, meaning he rejected. So for you have rejected knowledge. So you can see ata is there in order to give emphasis. So sometimes you will come across independent personal pronouns along with the verbal conjugation in order to make the sentence more emphatic in nature. Here also the same thing. Okay, now coming to the word order in the Hebrew sentence. As we have already seen, there are nominal sentences. Nominal sentences are there. What do you mean by nominal sentence? A
Sentences
verbless,
starting with noun.
exactly, a verbless sentence. A sentence which is carrying only nouns. For example, Ani Adonai. Ani Adonai. What is this? What is the translation? Ani Adonai.
I am the Lord.
Exactly. But am is not there. The verb is not there. We are supplying the verb to be while translating. But in the original Hebrew phrase, only Ani Adonai, only two words are there. This is called as verbless sentence or nominal sentence. Verbless or nominal sentences are there in Hebrew in order to, for so many reasons. One reason is to reduce the size of the phrase. Another reason, main reason, is to give emphasis to the phrase. I am the Lord, right? I am the Lord. And then verbal sentences are there in Hebrew. Most of the sentences are verbal sentences. Now, how the word order you can find in the verbal sentences? Always there will be a verb in the beginning. Then there will be a subject. Then there will be a noun, object. Okay. Stephen, can you please read this phrase? Stephen Sahil. Stephen. Okay. Hanok. Nirmala Devi.
Sir,
Can you please read this phrase?
Nafelu,
Nafelu.
Abhivetenu, Nafelu, Abhivetenu, Beharab.
Okay. Nafelu is right. Avotenu.
Beharab.
Behar. Yeah. Right. That is sword. Okay. Herav. Herav. Herav means sword. By the sword. All right. So, friends, if you see here, our ancestors have fallen by the sword. So, if you translate, if you look at the word order, Nafalu is the verb. Kal, perfect, third common plural from the root word Nafal, he fell. So, the first one is verb, the second one is the subject, and the third one is the object. This is the basic word order in Hebrew. And if you want to say, formulate in negative sentences, there is no negative formulation of the verbs. The negative particle lo will be placed before the verb. Okay. So if you read here, Stephen Sahil, can you unmute your mic and read this phrase? All right. Geeta madam.
Lo shameru avotenu at
Yet.
Devar Adonai.
Super. Our ancestors did not keep the word of the Lord. Okay. So there also you see the verb is the one that is beginning the sentence, but then since it is a negative sentence, the lo particle is appearing before the verb. Otherwise, this is following the basic rule where the verb appears as the first element and then comes, the subject and then the following things. Here, again, the word order, if you see, can someone volunteer to read this phrase?
Amar, Naval, Belibo, Ein, Elohim.
Very good. The fool says in his heart there is no God. Okay. Amar is the verb, right? Again, the verb is beginning the sentence. But if you see, sometimes this word oral order also will change. If you read this phrase, okay, Adonai Natan va Adonai Lakah. The translation is the Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. If you see here, the word order is not that the verb is beginning the sentence. The subject is beginning the sentence. Why the subject is beginning the sentence? Because the subject has to be emphasized. When the subject has to be emphasized, then the subject takes the place of the verb, which is the first position, in order to be emphasized. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind. So when you come across a Hebrew word phrase, you will also see that the subject can also begin a phrase, begin a sentence. In that case, we should understand that maybe that subject has to be emphasized. That is why the usual order of verb appearing as the first word has been violated. Lehem lo akalti. Bread I have not eaten. Here again you see lehem is taking noun is taking the first place. So the emphasis has to be given to that particular word. Sometimes you will not see this in the English translation. Only when you look at the Hebrew phrases, you will understand. Because sometimes in the English translation, they will not follow this word order. Right? But in the English translation, it will be in a polished way. So that is why we don't notice these things. But in Hebrew, although the word order is verb, subject, object, if the subject appears, then the subject has to be emphasized. Derek Shalom Lo Yadau. The way of peace they do not know. Again, they do not know. What they do not know? The way of peace. The way of peace, that phrase has to be emphasized. Again, here you see the construct absolute relationship. The way of peace they do not know. That has to be emphasized. Adonai Eloheinu, Karet Imanu, Berit Beho Rev. The Lord our God, again, that has to be emphasized. Made or cut. Karet is, literally means he cut. But then it can be translated here as he made. Okay, because covenant is they carve, right? So that is why that cutting a covenant in the stone, that is, that is the connotation from here which we can understand. So the Lord our God, Adonai Eloheinu, has to be emphasized, and that is why that appears in the beginning. Karat is the verb which is appearing as the second one. Here also
so can
the
I,
same.
Can I ask
Yes,
you
please.
questions about the previous one?
Yes.
So
please.
is it Imanu means, does it mean with us, or is it just us? Imanu, is it that im that is with, or does it come from am? It comes from im, right?
Yes, yes.
Imano.
It
With us.
is
With us.
It is preposition im.
Im.
A preposition im plus nominal suffix. Okay, so do you mean to say that that is missing in the translation?
No, I don't mean to say it is missing. I was just looking like, I mean, where this word would fit. So the Lord our God made with us a covenant in Horeb. Also, same thing, no?
Yeah, that's
I
how
mean, it's the Polish translation we have given.
I think literally, if you want to translate, we should include that.
With us, yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
I didn't understand the word. That is why I asked.
All right. I missed that. So imano is with us. That has to be included in the translation. Okay. So always what I suggest to my students is that first we need to make literal translation, word by word translation. Then we have to make the polished translation. When we do the word by word translation, we will understand how it is expressed in Hebrew. Right? Then only we can bring it into in the examination. Also, I demand my students to do that when they do the exegesis. Then only the examiner will know that you have the knowledge of understanding how the sentences are formulated in Hebrew. Very good. The next phrase, Manoj, can you read this?
U Virushalayim Malak Al Kol Israel.
Super. And in Jerusalem, he ruled over all people. Okay. And in Jerusalem, okay, so that has to be emphasized. And that is why that phrase is, that word is appearing in the beginning. All right. So the basic word order is verb, subject, object. And then this word order can be changed if any one of the words, either the subject or the object, should be emphasized. And what we have learned, even though the verbal conjugations contain pronouns, sometimes you will also see the presence of independent personal pronouns in order to give emphasis. Now coming to the last part, use of lexicon. So how to parse a verb? How will you understand that this verb is, how to find out the root of a word in order to go back to the lexicon and check how it appears, what is the meaning, and so on. So this one is the Hebrew Standard Bible that we use in the academic, in the universities. Okay, that is Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartensia. That means Stuttgart is the place in Germany where they have, done this. That is why it is Stuttgartensia, Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartensia. You can see it is written Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim. Okay, Torah, prophets, writings. This is the division in the Hebrew Bible. Okay, so the division in the Hebrew Bible is different from the division that we have in our English or regional Bibles. All right. Okay. This is one of the standard lexicons, which you will also find it on internet as PDF file. Okay, but it is good to possess these two things: one Hebrew Bible, one lexicon. Okay, so this lexicon is called as the Hebrew and English lexicon, but it is famously called as BDB, based on the first letter of the three authors: Brown, Driver, Briggs. BDB. This is how it is famously known as. Okay, so when I say BDP, it is understood that it is the standard Hebrew English lexicon. So if
So
you
it
can
is there
observe,
in the logos, right? There on logos, it is free, no?
where
BDB.
where it is free?
Logos. Is it free on logos?
Yeah.
No.
If you have the logo software, it is there. It is there. Yeah, the
Is it
WBC.
free or not? I mean, I have never used it. That's why I'm asking.
It's there. It's there. Or if you have access to the Z library, okay, Z library. If you have access, you can download the PDF format. Okay, but it is always better to possess a what is that? A physical copy, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, ve shameru bene Israel et ha Shabbat. Shabbat. Okay. Now, so first we have identified in this phrase that shameru is the verb. So first step in the process is to identify the verb in the sentence. Second step is to identify the prefixes and suffixes. When I say prefixes and suffixes, we should be in a position to know how it is conjugated. If you are not thorough with the conjugations, you will not know which one is the suffix, which one is the prefix, which one is the root. Right? So here verb conjunction is there. It is conjugated, and the conjugated suffix, if you see here, it is third common plural. All right. So now, and the third step is to parse the verb. You should be in a position to parse. So when you parse it, here it is call, perfect, third common plural from the root word shamer, meaning he kept, and verb conjunction is also there. Further in the step, it is necessary to identify the stem to which this particular verb belongs to. The stem here is kal, because we have learned only kal. There are also other stems like nifal, pl, pual, etc. And then we should know the tense. The tense here is perfect. Okay, stem is called, tense is perfect. And the fourth step is to find the root verb. So the root verb here is first, even if you are not able to find out the vowels, at least you should be in a position to trace out the three consonants from which this verb has been formulated. So the three consonants are shin, mem, and resh. We have to bring them out. Then we can add the vowels. Then what we have to do, based on this root, you can refer to the lexicon. Okay. So if you go to this lexicon, if you want to see this word in the lexicon, you can see it only with the help of the root word. When you are able to trace out the root word in the lexicon, that lexicon will show how this verb is conjugated in the Bible in the different portions, different sections. References will be given. Which stem? Okay, all these details are there. Okay, so first we need to identify the verb, then we need to identify whether there are prefixes, suffixes. Here verb conjunction is there. Then we need to identify the stem, and we need to identify the tense. We should also parse and then find out the root, that is the three consonants. Then with the help of the three consonants, just refer to the lexicon, you will find out the meaning. Okay, so now there are so many different technology you can take in order to find out, but this is the traditional way, without any help from BibleWorks software or any other software. If you want to know, this is how you have to find out the meaning in the lexicon. All right. Okay, so my point is, we can use all the resources, whatever apps or anything what we have, we can use, no problem, but we should be in a position to explain. Explanation for such process is needed when we do that. All right. Okay, so that's all for today, and the course is coming to an end. Monday we will have revision, so that means there will be a homework for today, and then please go through whatever we have learned after the first revision test. And then if you have any doubts, you can clarify. Okay, we can discuss and sort out the doubts. Or if you want to do any exercises also, we can do that. Right? Then after Monday, Thursday, you will be writing the second revision test. The second revision test will be based on only the portions that were taught after the first revision test. And then finally on Saturday, you will be writing the final examination. All right? Yes. So thank you. We will meet on
Thank you, sir.
Monday.
Thank you.